Good morning, everyone. I want to start thanking, first of all, them for contacting me, and also the Institute, because I am very, very proud and glad to be here with you today. Before to start, I want to thank also some of my colleagues who contribute and make the presentation with me. First of all, Jessica Miranda, the neurophysiologist, and Riccardo Pinto, the nutritionist, who made the presentation with me, and also Giampiero Scenzi, Jimmy Loberg, Maxime Herzog, Fabio Massimo Francioni, and Emanuele Onodu, who contribute to make this presentation. I interviewed them, yes, they sent me some useful comments, because they are like me on the field when we work on the recovery. Okay, we can start. If I can start with a question for you, I would like to listen one or two of you. What you think about the recovery strategies? Why you think we need to talk about the recovery strategies? Please don't be shy.
Dan is saying that they will be happy to share some thoughts, but just in being thoughtful about giving you more time for the presentation, we are happy to move on to the content, if you don't mind.
Okay, don't worry. It was just to understand if we are on the same page. Starting from these charts, this is just an example. Here you can see some markers about some physiological parameters about the body of the players pre and post match, and what happened also after the subsequent hours after the match. When you don't do the recovery strategies, so in a normal condition. So you can see that in more or less 72 hours, maybe a bit more, you can reach the level of pre-match without any recovery strategy. So to answer the question, what for? Because we need to speed up the recovery, but when we need, not always. Why not always? Because there are two reasons. One reason, maybe especially in the long-term period, the recovery strategies here, you can see some studies about the cold water immersion, but it's the same for in general for the recovery strategies. You risk to hinder the adaptation from the training. So let's say the right inflammation, our body adapt to everything. So if we do always the recovery strategies, the body of the athletes get used, and when you need in the moment, maybe the efficacy is reduced. And there is also another answer for who work with the youth, is that sometimes with the youth you need to do the recovery strategies even when you don't need, because with the youth, yes, sometimes you need to speed the recovery, but the objective is also another one. It's a learning process. It's a long-term learning process. This is why we talk about recovery strategies process and not only about recovery strategies. So this is just an example about the football match. Is just a reminder. For sure, you have some differences among the different sports, especially between the team sports and individual sports, but not only, also because of the demand of the sport. So you need to differentiate to adapt this concept to the specificity of the sport. In general, the fatigue comes from two ways: the general fatigue, let's say central fatigue, and peripheral fatigue. And here you can see that we have from football match, you have dehydration, glycogen depletion, neuromuscular fatigue, and mental fatigue. We move forward and we enter more in the topic. The recovery strategy is not only pull-based, but we can say it's not only based on one strategies alone. I speak about pull because I work in the pool. So I leave the recovery strategies from that point of view, but you can leave the recovery from different point of view. But the strategies include many aspects: water immersion, nutrition, sleeping, lifestyle, a lot of things. What is important is to have a global and interdisciplinary approach the problem, to the issue. And looking the general process in this case of the injury prevention model, but we can see also in the same way the training process in general. We can use this model as a pyramid where we have on the basis the lifestyle and the education, and on the second floor the concerns of training, and on the top the individual needs. You have the recovery strategies inside the pyramid, but what is important is to highlight that the recovery strategies has a lot of links with the other aspects of the training, and in this case of the injury model, for the injury prevention. And continue to use this model, this pyramid model. We have also the pyramid from the NSCA, where we have on the basis the sleep and the recovery, the psychological status, the recovery of the mental fatigue. Then we have the nutritional aspect and the rehydration. After we have the water immersion, and then we have the less scientific evidence tools, let's say, with the compression garments, active recovery, stretching, then massage, and then other tools. Okay, now we try to go a bit deeper, not too much on the different floors of the pyramid. So we have the psychophysiological part with sleep, relaxation, and emotional and mental state. And about the sleep, we have when we cannot sleep well or we cannot sleep, we have a lot of the problem linked to that. We can say that you reduce your performance, you reduce your activation, your mental activation, a lot of negative things. We can use some advices to improve the quality of the sleep. And I want to highlight just a couple of things. We know that the players, the athletes, and also us, we use the TV, the phone until we go to sleep, but we should avoid that. So also it's important to create some habits. In this case, put the pajamas, but not only the sequel of actions that create an habit to go to sleep, let's say automatically. And also we should avoid heavy exercises before sleep, but sometimes we cannot decide this. Maybe we have match or performance in the night. We need to create some strategies to cope with this problem. And our advice is to follow the sleep-wake rhythms and let the players wake up pretty early, even if you go to sleep late, and use the day after to make some naps to recover. It is not the right word to recover, but just to understand, to recover the hour of sleeps. Because you have the time to recover the hour of sleeps, but if you break the sleep-wake rhythms, you cannot recover, or it's more difficult to recover. And what is important to know that the players need to be aware how their body answer to the stimulus, to the recovery stimulus in general. So to arrive to satisfy the individual needs, but this is what we say, this is a learning process and require a lot of time. And about the emotional state and recovery, we need to know that the emotional state affects the speed of recovery and also the focus on the next goal in general. About the relaxation and recovery, we have two phases. We have some techniques to improve the relaxation and recovery. In the first phase, we need the players, the athletes need to learn these techniques in an easy environment, calm and control. And after, in the second phase, when he masters these techniques, he can use it also in a chaotic situation. And we have different kind of relaxation. Just to see quickly, we have the Jacobson relaxation technique, the body scan, and the biofeedback and breathing. All of them, for sure, needs time to be learned and to be taught and to be learned. And what is important that a technique to work need to be learned. And this is what happened in the life, has to be used in the life, in the field every day. And when you are used to do it, you can use in the recovery moment, and in the moment when you need the recovery process. So the players need to learn how their body works. They need to learn, they need to be aware, and how their emotion can affect also the performance. After we have the recovery nutrition, we saw before that the fatigue comes from dehydration and glycogen depletion. So the nutrition has a primary function in this topic. And the aim of the nutrition as well, what we said before, is to speed up, to reduce the time needed for the full recovery. What can be one strategy is to use the 4R. So refuel, rehydrate, repair, and rest. And again, the quality of sleep, we come back to the sleep, because there are a lot of links between nutrition and sleep. It is important to include all the foods and fluids consumed between one training and another, or one match and another, and to encourage the intake of foods and fluids that help to achieve the multiple recovery goals in one hit. And also, don't forget that the individualization is always the best way. Okay, this is just a visualization of the timeline after the match, what the players can eat and drink just right after the match. So we have more fluid drinks and foods, and after with the time they had to drink to eat some more solid foods. And also before to go to sleep, to have a snack to adjuvate to favor the sleep. Having this kind of some kind of food rich, for example, like a milk with which is rich in tryptophan, or cherry, or for example fruit like kiwi. After these two important, for me very important pillars, I define like pillars: sleep and emotional status, and nutrition are the pillars. Yes, without these pillars, the building fall down. So we need to keep in mind that they are not only recovery strategies, but they are also lifestyle habits. Without them, it doesn't make sense to keep these actions. What we can do, how we already said, the water immersion has some scientific basis to be used, because the water has some effectiveness on the recovery. Here you can see my house, let's say. In the water immersion, we can use some different tools. For example, not only the immersion or the exercise in the water, it helps to reduce the pressure on the joints because of the reduced gravity. With the hydrostatic pressure, you can favor the circulation and the venous return. And also using the temperature, you can have some more benefits. Most of all, the cold water helps to reduce the inflammation, to reduce the DOMS, the delayed onset muscle soreness, to increase the feeling of recovery, and to reduce the temperature of the body, which is very important to lead the body to the calm and drive it to the sleep. Also, we have the contrast bath, very useful for the blood flow, and then the hot water to relax the muscles and the mind, and all the other tools that we can use, the hydro massage, jacuzzi, and just shower that works like a massage, more superficial than deep. Also, you have a sauna, steam room, and the technique of breathing and relaxation to use in the water. After we have active recovery, again, we're using breathing technique and relaxation. It's the same that we can use inside the water or outside the water, on the field or on the gym. Self-myofascial release to release the tight of the muscles. And then postural work, stretching, mobility, and also yoga and recovery pilates to reduce the muscle tightness. and to recover the range of motion of the joints. Also, we can use the low intensity endurance, let's say jogging or cycling or also swimming to improve the circulation. And also the upper body strength, but also for the sport that doesn't use in the performance the upper body or use less the upper body to improve the ratio testosterone cortisol. But what we need to keep in mind is that what we want to do is to improve this line, let's say. So we need to avoid to push too much with the strength and endurance, and we did these two last examples, and we need to handle them very carefully. Okay, after we have compression garments, but they are a bit less effectiveness, improve the muscle soreness and the subjective feeling of recovery improvement. And massage, as we said, we can do deep massage or light massage. Deep massage more useful straight after the match, and the day after deep on light, depending on the feeling of the player. After we have other strategies, less sustained by the scientific point of view, like cryo chambers, electromyostimulation, vibration, recovery pumping, radiant and similar, luminotherapy, aromatherapy as well. But I want to say again about one concept, even if they are not scientific evidence-based, but they improve the psychological status of the players, they are important as well. Okay, so now we don't have, fortunately, we don't have the time to see this ideal scenario, but it's based on what we said before. So it's only a way to put in practice in a timeline and what we already said. But I want to focus on these two concepts that for me and for us is very, very important. Because what we said before is ideal, is scientific based, but we need to cope with the reality. So we need to know all this background, but we need to adapt to the reality. So we need to contextualize. So the cold water, it's very good, it's very useful, but maybe we don't have the pool. So maybe we can adapt with a bin, sorry. Or maybe you are abroad, you don't have the gym, and you use a room inside the hotel, or maybe the entrance of the hotel. Or if maybe you don't have the pool, so you cannot do the water immersion. And also a lot of things. For example, you need to know your group, your athletes, your players, because maybe you propose something very useful, one strategy very useful, but they don't like at all. And what is more important, the efficacy of the strategy, of the tool, of the mean, or the mood of the player or the athlete. And the other concept, the other key point is the individualization. The players need to experience all the means, all the tools, because he needs to understand how his body reacts to them. Yes, because the final goal is this one. The best recovery strategies at the end is the strategies that work better with that players in that circumstances, without forgetting that if you are in a team sport, you are in a team contest. Yes. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question, I'm here to answer you.
Alessandra, what kind of nutrients do players use in different age groups?
No, they don't differentiate between the age groups. Let's say this is more from the nutritionist, so you should ask him. He knows better. But what I know, because we talk together, especially with the youngers, the work of the nutritionist is to give them some guidelines. So the guidelines are more or less common for them, for all of them. And for sure, he stimulates to try to individualize the choices.
Thank you, Alessandra. Alessandra, do you use any devices for evaluating mental state of players? or emotional balance?
No. Our psychologists follow the players. Follow the players. We are aware that there are some tests about the emotional status, about the recovery status, but at the moment we don't use it. What we use by the physiologists, the sports scientists, we use the wellness that is more body oriented. But we have two psychologists who lives inside the teams. They go around inside the teams, so they know the players. They understand when they need something different, when individualize some intervention. And also they work very close to us with the coaches. So they suggest advice what to do in general and also in some specific case.
Thank you, Alessandra. Alessandra, so the question in regards to the comment you made that that there is a need to get some snacks before the sleep. So the question is like, how far in advance before a player goes to sleep he should finish with the snacks? Is there any limits?
Yes, this was also my doubt. I asked the nutritionist about that, but he answered me that also close to go to sleep. So if you see here after the game, no, sorry. No, it was the opposite. He put the snack very close to the dinner. You see, he put after the dinner, not close to the sleeping. To the sleep, just close to the sleep is a relaxation. So the idea is to have 2 hours after dinner to different activity, leisure activity, or individual needs from medical staff. And during this time to have this snack. After that, a relaxation technique, or not bath or not shower, and after that, straight before to go to sleep.
Alessandra, a tricky question. How does the process of recovery happen when players change the time zones? Does it interfere with the recovery process?
Yes, for sure. If you can, let's say the guidelines should be to have some period of time to let the players adapt. But most important, maybe you know better than me, because in Russia you have this. Maybe you have this problem more than me, more than us. You need to work with the rhythm, sleep awake rhythm. So you need to let the player follow the rhythm of sleep of the time zone where you arrive.
Alessandra, and the question is also asking about like how does it change the recovery process? Is there like any internal processes that it disrupts?
I would answer, because I didn't have directly this kind of experience, but I would answer that you need to adapt to the situation. So we come back to the contextualization concept, because what I can imagine is that maybe the players could need more sleep. So the day after you allow to do maybe not one nap, to nap, or a longer nap, or maybe a longer relaxation. Or if you don't do the relaxation, do the relaxation. Because, sorry, and I finish, because of why I talk about what happened before the performance. Because after you can follow, let's say, you also can react on what happened. But if you work before, you can prevent.
Sorry, Alessandra, just trying to catch your thought. Could you please say it again?
Why I talk about the rhythm, the circadian rhythm, and the adaptation to the time zone. Because if you can work before, you arrive to the match, to the performance in the best way. But if you cannot do it, or you don't do it, or for every reason you don't do it, after you need to react. So you can see what happened after the match, and you adjust your strategies. But always, yes, it's always better than prevent than have a cure.
Alessandra, thank you so much, Dave. We're very thrilled to hear the presentation. I really appreciate your time and sharing the knowledge and your experience.
You're welcome. It's a great pleasure for me.